Can Resident Evil 4 be beaten without guns? Well, sadly, that question's already been answered time and time again with a solid no. But a question I haven't heard asked a whole lot is, can Resident Evil 4's Separate Ways campaign be beaten without guns? So I sought out to answer this question, and the answer is quite surprising. So, to start off our journey, we start where every good Resident Evil 4 game starts, all the way in the village. Only difference is, in the Separate Ways campaign, you're dropped right in the middle of the village square and are left to fight and fend for yourself right off the bat. But I'm not, worried about that. I'm a professional after all. Oh, and the difficulty is set on professional this entire time. So, with that being said, this first part, all I need to do is run around a little bit until this chicken tells me where to go, where I can hookshot up, grab a key, and then move my way onto the church to ring the church bell to distract all the ganados. Fortunately, so far, I've been able to just run around and get by and everything. However, the church, I think it's a bit more imperative that I kill these ganados this time around, because there's a lot more choke points where they can get me a lot easier. It's not like the village where it's big and open, I can just run around for 5 minutes trying to avoid them. Here, it's a bit more important that I just kill them, which I can do pretty semi-easily. I do make this challenge a bit harder on myself by resetting a lot because I want to save my heals for a specific portion of the game that happens much, much later on. We'll get there. In order to get in the church, I need to grab this green cat's eye all the way on this side of the church area. Unfortunately, one of the Chainsaw Sisters is guarding it, which seems a little scary, but there is a pretty easy way to dispatch this chick. I just need to lead her over here to one of these gaps in the walkway, and then when she makes a jump, knife at her in her jump animation, and then she goes flying backward into the lake below, and is dead. If I could teabag, I would be right now. So that's what I did, and yeah, grabbed the piece, went back to the church, put the green cat's eye in this little puzzle thing, the thing that Leon opens to get the green cat's eye in the main campaign. Grab this insignia thing, get in the church, and then here I kind of struggle a bit. I reset a lot here because I really don't want to get hit here, so I make this part a lot more difficult than it needs to be. But to make things short, knife a few fellas, make my way onto the second floor, just knife the guys that climb up the ladder, and just make sure that no one sneaks up behind me. And then I do a little puzzle. It's actually the same puzzle from the main game of the church, only it's reversed. So I do that, and there we go. I'm done with chapter 1. 4 more to go. So far, things have been pretty easy. I haven't had to shoot once. You can see here, 0% accuracy rating. Next chapter, things get a little bit more hectic, a bit more difficult. My next mission is to save Luis Serra, who's, all the way over there, and, that little cabinet, just in the closet, he's just doing Luis things, I suppose. Right outside Chief Mendez's house is a terrifying sight. One of the 2 chainsaw guys is waiting there right for me. Now, there's nothing stopping me from just running past them all, but I really want to kill this guy, and that's what I do. You see, the chainsaw guys and chicks are actually pretty easy to take out, knife only, if you know what to do. What you need to do is bait them out into an attack by slightly walking forward and then backpedaling as quick as possible, and then you knife them straight in the eyes and roundhouse kick them and then knife them while they're down. It's pretty easy. The only difficulty is if there's multiple ganados attacking you at once, then it becomes a little bit of a hassle. Oh, and prior to killing this chainsaw guy, I picked up a golden egg inside Chief Mendez's house, and I'm going to be carrying it for the rest of the game. Or most of the game. This little egg and I are going to make it to the rest of this game. He will be my companion, and I will be his caretaker. Okay, enough about the golden egg. I make it through the chief's area, and then I make it to the main village square, and while I could fight everybody here, I don't feel like it. Don't worry, I will be slaughtering the main village area soon. But for the meantime, I just run past and just blow past everything and just call it good. I'd always like to clear it up now. You guys might be wondering, why the hell do you still have your guns in your inventory if you're not using them? At this point in the game, I did not know if not using guns was possible or not, so I held on to them for the whole game, just in case, but I still never used them. And if you doubt me, I will upload full footage of my campaign using no guns. So I walk to the farm area and I just, make my way over to Luis's, little closet. Unfortunately, Leon's already dragged Luis out of the closet. I think it's very great that Luis finally came out, if you ask me. But that's besides the point. I obviously need to save these two. So I just took the route that I used to get back here, and along the way there was practically no enemies. I mean, there was a few guys here in this little boulder canyon, but a lot of them had dynamite. And any people that use dynamite are actually a weapon for me. Because I can just use the dynamite guys to kill themselves and their friends. Worst friendly fire, possible. They blow up, their friends blow up. It's a double win for me, double lose for them. Sometimes triple lose, triple win. Who knows how many they kill. As long as I don't get hit by the dynamite, I should be fine. Because anytime dynamite collides with you, you just instantly detonate it for some reason. That's not how dynamite works. At least I don't think. If you want to fact check me on the inner workings of dynamite, go ahead. But I make it back to the village square, and there's a little ganado, a little sneaky guy wearing Leon's jacket. I know it's not his, so as a good civil servant, I decide this thief should pay for his crimes. By that, I mean I will kill him and all of his friends. That was a challenge much harder than I thought it would be. Well, not so much hard in the sense that, it wouldn't be difficult to kill them. I made it difficult myself by trying my best not to get hit and resetting every time I did get hit. I wanted to do this flawlessly, beautifully. Coming into this place, I had a strategy laid out and planned. I was going to lead the ganados to the side of the house that Leon barricades himself in, and go up this ladder to lead them up, and then knife any people that try to climb their way up. Unfortunately, there were a few holes in this plan. First off, two ganados, a female ganado and occasionally some other ganado, will try to sneak up by climbing through the ladder into the window of the house I'm standing on, and then come up and try to kill me from behind. I had a strategy for that, and that was to simply just, knock the ladder down outside, and then kill the guys on the roof while they were up there. And it was a pretty good strategy, it worked. But more ganados would spawn, and specifically one guy would throw his hatchets at me and hit me every time, and that was not good. I spent maybe like 20 minutes trying to beat this area without getting hit, and eventually I started struggling with the first two ganados that appear. I would knife one of them in the face, and then they just wouldn't, sometimes they wouldn't even get stunned. It's a bit inconsistent. I don't know if it's just Ada's knife does this, because I swear when I play the normal campaign, if I knife someone in the face, guaranteed they're going to grip their face in pain. But for some reason, Ada's knife doesn't sometimes. I could be wrong, but it just feels a little odd. Maybe it's just because Ada's knife doesn't have as much range. It looks smaller. I mean, Ada's knife just straight up looks like a fucking butter knife. But whatever. Eventually, I got fed up with it and just said, fuck it. I'm going to take the fight directly, and that's what I did. I didn't do no pussy-ass strategies by hiding up ladders. I just went balls to the walls, started knifing everyone in the face and roundhouse kicking them like there's no tomorrow. And you know what? It worked. I did it. I did it this way and took no damage. And do you want to know how many tries it took me to do it this way? Guess. If you guessed any more than one, then you're dead wrong. First try, baby, and they were all dead. No damage to me. Knifed the guy that took Leon's jacket. Called it a day. And, yeah. I made my way back to Chief Mendez's house. Chief Mendez tried to Bill Cosby me. That, or he was trying to sacrifice me to Ball. But me personally, I'm not a big fan of that kind of treatment, so I decided I was going to kill his cronies. Rather, I would have killed them all if a parasite didn't just pop out of one of their heads. Unfortunately, parasites are a no-go and are an absolute suicide quest if I want to try and kill one of these guys. So I decided, yeah, I'd rather just run than try to kill these guys with parasites popping out of their fucking heads. I had to go visit a dingy little barn where there was a key inside that I can use to activate the ski lift. Unfortunately, there was another chainsaw lady in there, but it wasn't that bad. I was able to kill her first try. Okay, well it was two because one guy smacked me, but whatever. But I did it anyway. It was a little bit scary because I had not a whole lot of wiggle room here. It was kind of dark, so I was all, I was disoriented, But, I still killed her. So I activated the ski lift, took the ski lift up, entered El Gigante Gorge. That's not its official name, but I just think it sounds nice. I tried fighting the El Gigante at first, then quickly realized, yeah, this is gonna suck. In 5 swipes, I probably do like 5% of his health, and in 1 swipe, he does 99% of my health. So I decided, no. Not doing this, and just ran past him. Now, fighting the El Gigante, knife only, is completely doable. It's been done before. It's just that, why do I need to prove that it's doable? It's already been done before. Also, I just really don't feel like spending 15 minutes on a single boss fight. Right? That's not fun. Alright, this is meant to be a fun challenge. Even though later on it doesn't turn very fun, it just turns very annoying. But we'll get there eventually. So, going through El Gigante Gorge, I make it to the cabin that Luis and Leon hold out in, and that's the end of Chapter 2, and that marks the end of Ada's adventures in the village. Now's when things get difficult. The village itself was not very challenging. In fact, I'd say it was rather easy, all things considered. But now's when things turn from easy to immediately fucking hard. I'm, of course, talking about the castle. And the castle, let me tell you, castle with guns, rock and roll, dude. All kinds of fun. Castle without guns? No, dude. This ain't it. This sucks. Right off the bat in the castle, I'm dropped into a combat encounter with some of the most annoying enemies in the game. I have A, Archer asshole sitting on the stairs sniping at me at all times while I'm in this stupid maze. B, I have shield dudes. Well, there's only one, but more show up later. And C, some of these assholes pop out parasites. So, not very good. And also, the enemy's weapons are faster, they do more damage, have more range, specifically the scythe guy. So, things aren't looking too easy here. This maze area, I spent well over 20 minutes trying on my first, 20 minutes combined with my first outing here, and then my second. I actually paused and decided to stop playing when I got to this point because I realized, yeah, this is going to be one of those areas that I'm going to spend a long time trying to get past. So when I came back and tried it again, my suspicions were correct. This area fucking sucks. Right off the bat, when I try to walk out of this little area I started in, I have a shield guy and this scythe guy and that archer guy all the way out there trying to kill me. So my strategy was, I go right here in the middle of this area. The shield guy is going to charge right ahead of me and the scythe guy is going to throw his scythe so he gets rid of it. And that's what I tried doing, and the strategy works. It's just that sometimes I get hit and I don't like it. And also sometimes one of these guys pops out a parasite. I soon pretty quickly, well, not pretty quickly, but I soon realized that this specific parasite type that pops out of their heads is actually not that hard to fight. In fact, it's pretty easy. If I can just quickly knife them in the face, and then kick them, or knife the parasite in the face, or just knife the knife the parasite, they'll do the animation where they're stunned, and then I can kick them. Which means I can infinitely just knife, kick, stun, over and over. And when the parasite finally pops out and comes out to kill you itself, you can just knife it a few times and it goes down. It's incredibly easy. But I didn't know that until I, tried more strategies later. I probably died easily over like 15. Well, I would have died, I just reset. So, I've reset a lot in this specific area because I really didn't want to take damage, and I made this harder on myself because of that. But eventually, I did make it through. At first, I was kind of confused as to what the hell to do. I thought there was maybe a key I needed to open this little gate here that's locked. But it turns out I just need to kill enough cultists in order to get more cultists to come down and come kick my ass and open the gate for me. So that's what I did. Killed enough, and then here they came, and boom. That was it. I ran past them and got the fuck out. The next area, however, was a very scary one. It's that room with the cave that drops down on you, and there's that Gyarados that drops down to kill you. Yeah, not good. I tried getting through this area once and then quickly realized, yeah, this sucks. I'm gonna have to plan this one out. You see, between the Gyarados and the Ganado jumping down in there, you also have archer guys shooting at you, and you have the knife down this little padlock. And, well, I say little, but the thing's fucking huge. Like, what kind of padlock is this? Who makes something like this? But yeah, pretty quickly realized that I'm not getting out of this one alive unless I reconsider my options. So I decided to take a break from this and head over to this little door area in the room before the cage and explore what was going on over there. So I walked over there and killed a few Ganados. And then I came to this little area where normally you would boost Ashley over to open the door for you in the main campaign, but I'm Ada, and I have a grapple hook. So I grapple over, and, you know, what do you know? There's a guy right in there, waiting to grab you right off the bat. Really nice, Capcom. Normally, if I had a gun, I could, you know, shoot him before I entered there, but I can't. Whatever. I go in there and I grab this little golden hourglass, which I need to open a door in that room with the cage, because even if I got out of that cage, I wouldn't be able to move on to the next area because I still need to put that stupid golden hourglass inside a treasure chest in order to open the door to the next area. So I'm glad I decided to, instead of trying to brute force my way through that room for 20 minutes, I decided to go do this little side bit instead. So I made it back to the room, and of course the cage, you know, drops on me again. I immediately put away the golden hourglass inside the chest, and surprisingly, I managed to get out of that cage first try. No crossbow guy shot at me, no Gyarados attacked me, no assholes hit me through the cage. First try, just knifed down the padlock, kicked it down, and I was good to go. I was actually quite surprised I did this. So I walk into the next room, you know, just walk around a little bit, kill a few guys, Ada thirsts for Leon a little bit more, and then I move on. I see Luis die again, and then it's on to the final area of the game, the island. But there are still 2 more chapters ahead. It's, you know, just the final area of the game as a, you know, general broad term, you know, not the final chapter. Don't get me misconstrued here. Just like the castle, things are gonna stay pretty fucking difficult from here on out. The starting area to the island, like the past, you know, 2 starting areas for each area, is another mess. I'm dropped right down, and there's guys right there. So yeah, another difficult, challenging area. But thankfully, there's just enough wiggle room for me to dodge around everyone and just avoid taking damage. I still managed to die once here because I took a little secret route to grab a little bit of treasure, and when I jumped down to escape the guys that are already attacking me, there was a whole horde of Ganado waiting there, and yeah.
Fucking whores! You fucking whores!
I can't fight that with a knife, alright? Second try is the charm. I said, fuck you to that treasure. It's an evil temptress that lures in treasure hunters to their doom. So I just ran past and made it to the next area. This next area is probably one of the most interesting sections of all of Resident Evil 4. The battleship. Just a huge-ass battleship here. Not really explained. Anyhow, I just had to run around a bit. There's some turrets on the ship that attack me, and I have to do something that might be a bit controversial. I have to use a giant gun turret, or just a giant turret, in order to shoot down the other turrets. Now, you might think that this counts as using a gun. But to Capcom, it doesn't, because it doesn't increase my accuracy rating. anything that increases my accuracy rating counts as gun usage, and it doesn't count. So as far as I'm concerned, this doesn't count. If you want to say it counts, go ahead. Be a poo-poo head. Be an asshole. Ruin the fun, huh? While you're at it. Why don't you just go crash a kid's birthday party and burn it to the ground while you're at it, huh? Walk up to someone walking out of a Dairy Queen with an ice cream cone in their hand, just smack it out of their hand while you're at it. You know, come on. Have a heart. Anywho, this part is a little bit challenging. I died once because there's a lot of ganado, and I, not too equipped to deal with them. Some of them have shields, and let me tell you, shields are extremely annoying to puncture and get through. I found by now that the best strategy is to actually knife the legs of people that use shields instead of knifing towards their face area. Because sometimes if you knife their leg area, you can just hit the shield and hit through the shield enough that you can get them on their knees and kick them right in the fucking jaw. So I run through another area filled with ganado with my golden egg still in hand, and I managed to save Leon from his knife fight with Krauser in the nick of time. Okay, this next area is when things get a little hectic, and I mean really hectic. Like, this is gonna suck kind of hectic. I'm treading through that dreaded area of Resident Evil 4, the one where you have the helicopter buddy watching over you, and there's a bunch of just a million enemies at once attacking you. That area of the game that most people kind of dislike. Yeah, I'm here now as Ada, and I don't have backup. And it's arguably worse during Ada's campaign. So I have to run through, and big minigun guy. And I don't, and I repeat, don't have a weapon that can fight that guy head on. My knife, I don't even think they can stun these guys unless I knife them multiple times. But by the time, they're just gonna smack me with a minigun, right? It's not a safe bet to fight this guy knife only. So I just ran past everything, and I made it to this little room where I get locked in, and what do you know? A bunch of people jump down. You just have to fight them with a knife until they pop out a parasite out of their head. I can't fight that. I will die to that. Parasite does a lot of damage. Knife does not do a lot of damage to them. So this is when I finally caved and decided it's grenade time. Some of you might be upset, but remember, this is a gun, no gun challenge, not a knife only challenge. It might be possible to do this knife only. I'm just not good enough to do that. So I decided to use a few flash grenades to get past this room. That's it. Just a few. And the next area, I did use a few flame grenades to stun the minigun guys for nothing because they still didn't give a shit. One of the minigun guys managed to kill one of the other minigun guys, which was nice enough for them. I did die here once, which sucked. But I made it past, and I used a lot more healing items than I would have loved to. I was actually pretty concerned here. Anyhow, now it's time for the first required boss fight, I suppose. The El Gigante at the beginning area counts as a boss fight, only you can just kind of run past him. But here I actually have to fight, and I'm fighting Krauser, who's not dead from the fight with Leon, although he's looking not too good. Now, those of you who know anything about this game know that Krauser is, easier to kill with a knife, and it's the same here. In fact, he's even easier. Although for some reason, he does manage to kick me while I'm in a QTE event. He still managed to hit me in the animation, which is a little weird, a little annoying, but I decided I'm not going to restart over it. Wait, did I restart over it? I kind of forgot. But after the Krauser fight is the moment that I've been dreading. Now's the time to fight Sadler. Fighting Sadler with guns is kind of hard, because he's tanky as shit. Sadler is a real tanky dude. In fact, he's probably one of the most tankiest enemies in the entire game. So I was not looking forward to this, and I was hoarding all of my heals for this specific fight. That's why I made this challenge so much harder for myself than I needed to. Just for this fight, because I knew I would need them, because I would be taking a lot of damage. So at first things were going great. I got hit a few times, but thankfully most of Sadler's attacks are QTE attacks, so I just have to dodge them. Although some of them aren't, so I'm still taking damage. It's just that, you know, not as much as I thought I would. But I still suspected this fight would be a lot longer than it ended up being. Turns out, Sadler is also extremely allergic to knives, like Krauser. And I killed him, I kid you not, in probably less than a minute. Between me landing the first strike and Sadler falling on the ground, it was a total of 34 seconds. A fight that would normally take like maybe 5 minutes, 34 seconds. Wow, that would have saved me a lot of time as a kid fighting this guy. If only I knew. And I'm surprised I've never heard this fact said before. I guess that just shows how little of a shit people give about this specific campaign, or how little people talk about it, I suppose. Okay, well, time for the final part, and it's even easier than the last. I run past everything. I try using a few grenades, but it's just not working out. The hand grenades don't have a good enough arc, you know. It's hard to throw things up somewhere with those grenades, and I don't have a lot of flame grenades, so I use them to stun a few guys, specifically the big guys with the giant hammer, axe, whatevers, because those guys are annoying. And I managed to grab the rocket launcher, throw it down to Leon, and there it is. I beat this game without using a single gun. Or, I beat Resident Evil 4's that's a different thing. I beat Resident Evil 4's Separate Ways campaign without using a gun. And you can see here at the end screen, 0% accuracy. Which means I beat this with no guns, to Capcom's logic. There's a slight gray area with that little bit on the boat, but I don't count it personally. So that marks the end of beating the game without using a gun. Unprofessional. Yeah. Overall, it wasn't so bad. It was a little irritating. It was a little bit irritating at certain parts, but overall, it wasn't the worst challenge I think I've ever put myself through. If I really wanted to suffer, I would have done no damage as well. Maybe I'll do that one day. Maybe. Just maybe. Maybe I'll do no damage. But that's besides the point. Anyhow, that's it. Subscribe if you enjoyed it. That's all I ask. At 500 subs, I'll be making a special Discord server for the entire channel. And at 1,000, I'll be recording the most difficult challenge possible in Fallout New Vegas. So if you like watching challenges, you're gonna like that one. I also mentioned it in passing, but I will be uploading the full footage of me beating this game without using guns to my channel. But until then, have a good day. Or night.